All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for real people just like you, just like me. Again, want to thank all the subscribers who stuck with the channel, and things are a little better than they were, say, 30 days ago. So I want to thank everybody who became patrons and reached out to me. That was really great. Also, another little housekeeping bit. I figure instead of doing a standalone video, and very few people watch the standalone video, I will do some promotion. All right, getting all cheeky here with Alafar. Alafar is a band from Greece. Okay, they're really good. They have this tune called Zombie Town. Their new album is called State of Mind. I think it's very appropriate for the last, I don't know, 12, 13 months of our life. And you can find this puppy over on Bandcamp and several other places. Just Google Alafar State of Mind if you want some rock music to listen to that isn't, shrouded in production gimmickry and so forth. State of Mind by Alafar might be the trick. Well, Dennis DeYoung, every so often he takes to Facebook and he puts down these just epic posts. I love reading because I get his sense of humor. I think his sense of humor, by the way, is starting to go by the wayside. Like, people are going to be offended reading Dennis DeYoung's humor. Dennis DeYoung, of course, the former, I'm just going to call him the former mastermind from the band Styx, the guy who helped Styx achieve big time success because it was his songwriting that got the band, some visibility. This little tune called Lady. And then there were a bunch of other tunes that he wrote. Many of these songs he wrote about his wife or for his wife, who he's been married to for like 100 years. So it's pretty remarkable what he was able to achieve by being, a guy who could be your high school gym teacher. Just saying. Dennis doesn't look the rock star part, although in the old days he could kind of pull it off. But nowadays you see him and you go, hey, there's the guy who's yelling at the kids to get off the lawn. I do the same thing, by the way. I'm always yelling at kids to do something and then they just ignore me. So he posted about the Grammys. He called it the Grannies, which I found interesting. A lot of grannies, if they watched it, were probably horrified, mortified, running from the TV, turning it off. I'm sure, look, people ask me, do you watch this? I go, no. Why don't you just watch it? Because you can critique it. And I just don't have the patience for it. I don't. So he went on an epic rant, talked about all the names of these artists: Pop Smoke, Bad Bunny, Lil Baby, Doja Cat, Lady Gaga being probably the most recognizable of those names. But he then kind of laid into the fact that rock is dead, talking about the 15 seconds that Eddie Van Halen got on the show. And again, once again, proving that rock is dead. But this particular portion of the post, this is something that like a Rick Beato or some of the other critics, skeptics, I'm trying to be diplomatic, people who are kind of fed up with technology ruining things and taking over to a point where the thing that you used to like is unrecognizable. And technology is creeping in, like actually not creeping, like running. So he says here, this is an amazing sentence: the digital ability to change pitch and timing takes the control away from performers and puts it in the hands of producers and engineers, many of whom are musicians. Many, Dennis, but not all of them are musicians. Practicing is just so boring and time consuming, in parentheses. But these advances are just the tip of the digital iceberg. I mentioned this phenomenon in a post already about the difficulty of judging reality. In other words, you can't tell. Nobody can tell. Is this a real beat? Is it a fake beat? But what happens is as time goes on, people won't know the difference. They won't be able to judge. He says, danger lies ahead. Sound manipulation is still not as insidious as digital video, where all things become possible. He says, think the new fake Tom Cruise video. It's called We've Only Just Begun. I haven't seen it, so I don't know what that's about. So much of our current music is over manipulated, so the listener can't be certain who has actual talent and who doesn't. Oh, I can. I'm starting to be very discerning. Should the audience care? Apparently not. Now, he hits on something really important: apathy. Even older fans of music now are becoming nostalgic, and they don't care about, who shows up at the concert. Meaning, gee, Fleetwood Mac is Neil Finn, sorry, wrong Finn, but you know what I mean. And Mike Campbell. It's just like, okay, whatever, so long as they do all the hits, even if they don't really sound like the hits. For me, being wowed by someone's natural talent and dedication to excellence is what fascinates me. This last bit was written by someone who spent way too many hours in his bedroom practicing. Dennis DeYoung, the great Dennis DeYoung, who I believe has another volume of music to be released maybe this year. I'm pretty sure it's coming out this year. 26 East Volume 2, I think it's going to be called. Volume 1 is out there. If you want to hear some real music the way it used to be recorded, there are some people still doing it. I talk about the Frontiers music label. There are other European record labels too that are decent. Escape Music is another one where they put out real music. And look, you may not like the genres that I like. I like country music. One of the reasons I like country is it's so organic. I can hear the acoustic guitars and the pedal steel and the drums, and there's this certain sort of rural authenticity to it, and we are moving at light speed away from that. In fact, the country music format has been corrupted now for probably maybe 9-10 years with stuff that doesn't have any business being called country, but it's over there, and people are like, oh wow, this is really cool, and other people are like, hey, this isn't country. So the Grammys, certainly each year it's like we push the envelope further away from the days where we used to watch and see who was winning these Grammys and why. You had these great songwriters and producers. I mean, who's going to compare to like Quincy Jones? All right. Who's going to compare to Mutt Lange or Don Was, or, you can name any producer, Ted Templeman, any producer from that era. And you're going to hear somebody who was in the studio meticulously, not manipulating, but trying to get the best out of the instruments and the performers. And it was all organic. In the old days, it was recorded on tape. Tape, what's that? And even the transfer from analog to digital is still warmer and friendlier and more accessible and more believable than the crap they're putting out now, which is just all digitally manipulated, enhanced. Some guy on a keyboard just pecking away, coming up with sequences, and maybe even having the AI design this stuff and say, do it this way, but then tweak it over here so it doesn't sound like that song that was out last year, and that's all they have to do. There's no creativity involved. There's no like sitting down and thinking about great songwriting. Of course, they have to add lyrics to these things, and heaven forbid you listen to one of these songs all the way through and hear what they're actually saying in these songs. It's disgusting. All right. In some cases, it's just, we used to blush when we heard one or two words on the radio back in the day when you heard one foul word, which was typically placed there for a purpose, to make a point. And it was, again, natural. It was the songwriter expressing themselves in a way that, the Parents Resource Music Committee or whatever probably didn't like. Where did those people go? We need them now. We didn't really need them then. D. Snyder, what happened, man? I mean, it's the reason I ask is because I think he testified before Congress. You know, free speech. Anyway, that's another video altogether. I will graciously step away from that topic and try to keep my channel in tip-top shape here. Again, want to thank people for subscribing. Oh, one more time, product plug. Ayla, I don't get anything for selling these. I'm just pointing you to where there's music you can listen to. This is called State of Mind. These are kind of friends of mine. I reviewed their last album, which I thought was very good. It's hard to describe what this sounds like, but it is rock. It is melodic rock for sure. And there's a tune called Zombie Town, which I think you'll definitely relate to, especially nowadays. All righty, I am done. See you soon.